Hello. The main rod I'm using is a Tenryu Lunakia. I had this rod imported about a year ago, and it's been my go-to for any creek fishing, any trout fishing. It's honestly one of the favorite combos I've ever built. This is a 2500 Daiwa Arity. Has the quick fire drag, so one turn either adds on a lot of drag or takes off a lot of drag a lot quicker than your standard drags. So you can get to tighter drag pretty quickly with less turns. And that typically comes in handy if I need to back off really quickly, if I hook into something bigger on this, because I have caught striped bass, larger smallmouth on this combo. Main thing I use it for, like I said, is creek fishing, which you can see in some of my videos, like my Mill Creek series, or my stocked trout fishing. I have a few videos of that. But this is the first time I'll be using it for brown trout up here, so I'm pretty excited. One thing I love about the Mad River is how clear this water stays, but that can also make it challenging to fish. This part up here is kind of shallow and I want to drift it in front of them, so these were the only floats I had in my car, and this jig head's a little too heavy, so I had to throw two on, and it barely floats. So I don't know if I'll see them pull it under, but I'll give it a try. I know if anything, I have this big ass thing. Well, it's not a giant bobber, but compared to what I'm using, I might have to use that, but not an option I want to go down. I'm trying to dig in the bottom of my little terminal area on my bag to see if there's a bobber laying down in there, but my hopes aren't high. Let's check this little compartment. Bobber. It's so easy to keep a bobber in my bag too. I don't know why I would take one out. Oh no, my line. It's alright. Technical difficulties. Another thing I did forget was my little landing net. That would have came in handy. I'm trying to think if I have a net in my car. I don't want anything crazy big. Just want something I could take photos of the trout with without having them out of the water and flopping around, but it is what it is. Areas like this where a run goes down and then there's some low-hanging tree or branch that's fallen into the river, kind of right in the deep pool, I've found is a good spot for brown trout to sit, wait for prey, bait, insects to drift down. So a lot of times I've had luck casting above and letting it drift through. It doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to do it at this one specifically, but if I can cast right in there, I might have a good chance of finding one. Alright, I've kind of floated through this fallen tree a few times and those down there. I have never really gone too far up this way where this little run comes in. So I don't think I'm going to have any luck up there. All the big log jams where I've caught my best trout are south. So I'm going to head that way. I'm going to stop back by my car and see if... I know I have a third little bobber like this. So I can get enough floats on here, it'll keep it up and I can also see them, because this is like, it's only like sitting half an inch below the surface, but even that makes it hard to see, even with, orange and pink floats. So I have a white one I'm going to put at the top, and that should keep the whole thing floating. I might have a bigger float in one of my cup holders, like in my back seat now that I think about it. That's been there forever and I just never threw it back in the bag, so we'll give that a try. Keep heading south and go from there. Here's the third float I knew I saw. And I swear I had some more. I just bought some big floats too. It's just all the stuff I constantly move in and out of my car for different fishing. I moved out all the finesse stuff, all the trout stuff. I went up to Lake St. Clair in Michigan, so I had a bunch of muskie stuff, a bunch of pike stuff, smallmouth stuff. I've just been slacking all the trout stuff since I haven't been up here in a while. Update. I dug through some stuff and I found the big boy. It's kind of funny, before when I first got this rod, I was being super delicate with it. Not throwing anything over like 4 grams. But one day I was fishing for bass and I only had this rod. They were eating bluegill, so I was literally chucking little bluegill out on this on a circle hook. Kind of just like lobbing them. So honestly surprised what this rod is capable of with it such a low rating. Decided I'm gonna go with the 3 little guys. It keeps this bait afloat, and it's not like glaringly obvious that it's there. So Yeah, the big one looked like a golf ball floating down the stream. Getting to the bank again, not being in the river when you're trying to get somewhere, it's kind of like being on one of those, it's not an escalator, one of those moving walkways at the airport. You just feel so much faster not being dragged down in the water. How's it going? Not too bad. How are you? Doing any good today? Not yet. Usually catch a few off of here. Yeah, they're sitting like right underneath those branches typically on that far side. And they'll come out and hit stuff, but it's hit or miss, you know. Sometimes they're down at the log jams. So
what do you use?
It depends. This is a little like caddisfly type thing. Nothing so far, but give it a try down there. I see a few right over there.
Have a good one.
You too, thank you. It's funny, a guy just flew a drone past me. I got my drone in my bag right now. Once I get down here, probably get some good B-roll. I'd love to see the river from like 20 feet up. You can probably see a lot of trout with how clear the river is. So I'll probably fly above the log jam, see if I can see any. Bringing this guy out of retirement. This is the spoon that my first Mill Creek video I caught probably 40 fish on, and then both of my trout videos I probably caught around another 40 fish on. So this lure's been through some stuff. Probably gonna lose him knowing the Mad River. Lots of snags everywhere. I might cast him into the tree, but we're gonna see if he can keep his streak going. Right here is actually where I caught my very first trout. I drove up here, never been here before, and really didn't know what I was doing. I even brought a bass rod for some reason, and I didn't wade the river. It was winter, and I've never bought wet waders. I walked all the way down this bank, and I was up on that little cliff, and I was casting a little like jerkbait I got at Meyer across here, and got my first few brown trout. So I've been coming up here ever since, in the summer and in the winter. I've had varying success. You can kind of tell I haven't got a fish yet today, but I'm getting to my favorite parts to fish down here. I can already see a change in the river. There used to be an island where the river split around it. So there was a log jam here, a log jam over there, and a third log jam where the river kind of serpentine. Looks like whenever it rained heavily this summer or early spring, it blew right through it, and there is no longer an island. So uncharted territory kind of with how the pools changed and where the trout could be. Okay, this is kind of where the river used to veer the main current, and there was a secondary current right here. And the secondary current is now the primary current. So this is what was the island. And I used to go over there, and there's some nice bends over there with log jams, little deep cuts that the trout could sit underneath. Now it's just a straight shot over here. I just had a fish for 2 seconds anyways. I wasn't paying attention, honestly. I'm gonna get the bottom rod out, just have some worms out there. I'm gonna keep casting this into that deep pool. Hopefully that fish will come back. This is barbless, so if you don't keep pressure on, they'll pop right off. So that was the problem there. Throwing wet redworms on the bottom, I got the old reliable baby ugly stick. It's a 4'6" ultralight. You know, it's an ugly stick, so you can do that. Got a little 500 size Akuma live line, so if I get something that should pull drag, then you reel and lock it in, and then you got your fighting drag. There we go. And it should get something, hopefully, if there's something down there. The redworms have never failed me. Literally, anytime I come up and I'm not catching any trout on lures, I'm like, alright. Whoa! Thought that was a wasp or something. Anyways, redworms have never failed. I caught my first fish. Oh, he fell off. No, no, little guy. Looks like a little sculpin. This guy was my last new species of the year. 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe. I believe it's a Mottled Sculpin. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me. Didn't get skunked though, so he counts. A cool little species. Before I continue, I feel like now is as good a time as any to get some drone footage. Heck was that? Anyways, got my helipad. This thing is coming handy for places like this. Just gotta find a good flat spot. That's good enough. There we go.
Take off. Attitude mode. Fly with caution.
See if we got anything on. Oh, yep. Took a little bit of waiting, but I got myself my brown trout. What a pretty fish. Look at that. He's gonna freak out. Sir. to take your picture. Line it up so I don't crash in the rocks. I think I got me catching that trout on drone. I don't know if I had my camera in the right mode, so I'll have that at least. All right, you're fine. You're all good.
Angle this way when the water's spinning. What is that? Did they good until we showed up?
They'll keep biting. I've caught trout with like 50 people going by, so. Hello. Yikes.
Hey, how you doing, bud?
Not too bad. How are you?
Thank you, man, for everything you guys do.
Why?
You know what I mean? You, bud?
You guys stop? You go this way.
I know that's what I'm trying to do, too.
Clear.
Stuck right up in the end of the logs like this. There you go. We're good.
Yeah, some dude just wiped out on that log jam, so it's a bit of a tricky turn. I think something might be messing with it. Straighten out my line, so if it's on there, I'll get it. Psych, didn't get shit. There we go. Got me a little creek chub. You know what likes to eat a creek chub? A big brown trout. Now I just need to find the big brown trout. Little green sunfish. Never caught one of those out of here. I had this bait tank. It's like a cylindrical, probably, I don't know how much it would hold. Like 500 milliliters. You basically wade with it attached to your belt or something, and you can just have live bait in it, like a few small chubs or something like that. I wish I had that so I can just take these guys with me, but I got the creek chub out there. I think that would be a better bait for a bigger trout, so I'm just gonna throw him back. These guys are so easy to catch. I wish the trout were like that. Dang it. Just walked through some trees and I got this strange looking caterpillar on me. Be careful because I don't know if he stings or he has those barbs that'll get stuck in me. It looks pretty cool. There's an app by National Geographic called Seek, and you can kind of just scan insects. White marked tussock moth. It's not loading right now, but it'll tell me about the species, its range and stuff like that. It's a cool app to use anytime you want to identify any type of animal, insect, or plant. It works pretty well. Kind of catalogs all the stuff you've found too. Something small. Another little creek chub. I was hoping there'd be some trout sitting up there. I got my red worms a little down current from me, see if anything will take it. I might move it one more time and I'll probably call it quits. I didn't get skunked on trout today, so I'll take that. There's either a giant trout in front of me or a carp. Kind of look like a carp. But I've never seen a carp swim up this far, so hoping it's a giant trout. I'm gonna have to throw my worms out again, see if he'll eat them. And actually see if I can get a video on my phone. Zoom in. Can I see him on there? Where'd he go? He's right over there. That is a big fish. It's looking like a carp. It is a big fish. It's looking like a carp. I just put a preserved real waxworm on a hook and then an artificial fake wax. Something keeps falling behind me. I just put a wax. I just broke off both of my lines, both of my leaders on my rods, so I think I'm calling it there. I'm just gonna walk back to the car. Alright, back at my car. I wouldn't call that fishing trip uneventful. I would have liked to catch more than one trout, but you take what you can get when you're out here. That'll be it. I'm going to drive back home, take a shower, and lay in bed. So waiting 2 straight days in a row have my legs worn out. Stopping for lunch on the way home. I got Shack's Chicken Restaurant. It's usually pretty good. This is their new sandwich, which has 2 onion rings and cheese curds on it. So I'm gonna have some trouble eating that probably, but looks really good.